Welcome, football fans, to another edition of IDP Plus Bets. That is right, folks. I'm one of your hosts here, the DJ Doc. And if you're looking for Thursday night football, game breakdown, injury analysis, and of course, the actionable information you came for Thursday night football, best bets, then you, my friends, are in the right spot. What is up, my friends? I am the DGen Doc here, and we are talking about some Thursday night football, a matchup that maybe a week ago was not too appetizing, but after some injury news, this is not going to be a bad game. Look, we have the 5-1 surprise Minnesota Vikings heading out to LA to take on just the 2-4 Los Angeles Rams. But this, as the spread indicates, I think it's going to be a closer game than the records indicate. I mean, Minnesota, a surprise team, off to a great start led by Sam Darnold. And then the Rams, I mean, just as has been the case for the past couple of years, really since they won that Super Bowl, injuries have gotten a hold of them. But they've got some guys coming back, and I think this is going to be a game here. So as we take a look, we've got Vikings and we've got Rams, and it's Thursday Night Football on NFL Prime. So I hope you guys are as excited as I am for another great matchup. Look, not a division rivalry, but in a situation where you have two coaches from similar coaching trees, and I think it's going to be a very exciting game. So as we talk about this game, let's first get into it. So you have the Minnesota Vikings laying 3 on the road favorites, -3 at -105, money line set at -155. The Rams home dogs catching 3 at home, +3 at -115, money line sitting around +130, over on at 47.5. Obviously, as you know, especially doing a game that's going to happen today in a couple hours, these odds are subject to change, right? I'm going off DraftKings of what it was right before I went live. So plus or minus some, right? But let's take a look at these games and let's take a look at these teams. So we've got the Minnesota Vikings, who have been very healthy this season. It's part of the reason they've done so well. And really, it does not change much for this game. Now, the one guy that's going to be out that, is not on IR is Blake Cashman, their leading tackler still, despite missing last week and missing this game here. So middle linebacker there, he is a great player dealing with the toe injury, so that is a loss. They did also rule out TJ Hockenson, who he's about 10 months from an ACL and an MCL tear. Even if he did play, I didn't expect him to do much today. I think even next week, next week is the goal, right? Now, that 21-day window. So next week, they essentially have to activate him. But similar to what I was talking about with Nick Chubb earlier, I don't expect anywhere to be a full go or near 100%. So temper expectations for TJ Hockenson, but he's not going to be out there tonight. Now, someone who I do expect to be out there, though, is potentially Dalton Reisner, their offensive guard, who's had a full practice all week, dealing with some back injury. And then Aaron Jones, good to go with his hamstring. No concerns there at all. Again, Vikings pretty healthy. Now, on the Rams side of the ball, they got absolutely decimated early in the year into the season. But this is a team that is getting healthier. It is getting healthier. Look, I know they're sitting at 2-4, but when you look at that division, it's still absolutely up for grabs. So let's talk about who's good to go for tonight. So Cooper Kupp, full practices all week. He's got 5 or 6 weeks away from that high ankle sprain injury. I'm fully trusting Cooper Kupp tonight. I think he's going to be close to 100% a full go. A guy who I was surprised is going to be out there. They just activated him, Puka Nacua, coming off a PCL strain. Now, he's about 7 weeks removed from the PCL strain he suffered in week 1. That timeline is not the craziest thing. The kind of surprising crazy part is they just activated him on Tuesday, and he only had 2 limited practices. So typically, if you don't see a guy do a full practice, I mean, I'd like for the guy to get somewhat of a replication of live game action before we just throw him out there. So from the injury timeline, diagnosis, prognosis perspective, not a crazy thing that he's playing. It's just given a situation now he only had 2 limited practices and not a full practice. It is a bit surprising. So we'll see there. Not as gun-ho as Puka Nacua as I am on Cooper Kupp, but obviously it will be benefit added to this team. The guys are going to be out for the Rams. Joe Noteboom, their swing tackle, is still on IR. Jordan Whittington, the rookie out of Texas, he's out. Troy Reeder, one of their best linebackers, he's put on the IR with a hamstring injury. So not only is he out this game, but 4 weeks. And then Jonah Jackson, their left guard. Now, I will say, Jonah Jackson is a loss, a guy that they wanted to bring in. He's been on IR. But that offensive line that was decimated early on now has 4 of the 5 projected starters back. So they are getting a bit healthier. And then backup nose tackle, Neville Gallimore, and then defensive end starter out of Florida State, Braden Fisk. They're questionable. They did practice a bit this week, so there's a chance they play. It's kind of a bit up in the air for those guys. But, based on where the Rams were starting at a couple weeks ago, this is a revelation for them as far as a health perspective. So I'm going to definitely talk about this game in a second, but I do want to bring something up here that I put over on the old Twitter machine, over on the X here. If you do like the Rams tonight, like I will be on, spoiler alert, this is a situation where I like them to win the NFC West right now at plus 850. They were 11-1 before they beat the Raiders last week. I got a little there. I still like them with Puka Nacua coming back. I think his timeline was a bit, in my mind, based on what they were saying, as far as they weren't giving us a lot. I didn't know when we were going to get Puka back. So now that we got Kupp and Puka back, like, I look at the rest of this division. Brandon Ayuk is now out for the season. You've got, Kittle, Jennings, and Debo all dealing with issues there. And I really think Brandon Ayuk is a huge portion of that San Francisco offense. So I'm not high on San Francisco. I've been on their under all season. We go to the Cardinals. I think their defense is really bad. I think they were very fortunate giving up 300 yards to Herbert to still win that game last week. And they just lost their best pass rusher for the year in Dennis Gardeck. And then you have the Seahawks, who I think are a pretty fraudulent team as well. They've got injuries to their defense. Their front seven has not been good. And I just am not a huge Geno Smith guy. So I think this is an opportunity. If you like the Rams tonight, obviously if they win this game, this price is going to go down. So if you're that confident, I think it's definitely the value is there. I do not think they're the worst team in this division. I think they got the best head coach, the best offense, if skill players, best quarterback. So I think that can get you a long way. All right, let's talk about this game. Let's get back to this game specifically, and let's talk about what I'm on for tonight. So Viking side of the ball, they can run the ball really well, and they can stop the run. They're rushing for about 120 yards a game, and they're just holding people to about 80 yards. And then their pass defense, some of this is game script. They've had some big leads, and so some of the numbers are a bit skewed because they've been out so much that people are throwing on them, not really running on them. So I don't want to read too much into it, but they have one of the worst pass defenses in the league right now, giving up almost 260 yards. And then on the Rams side of the ball, they are very bad against the run. They're giving up almost 150 yards on the ground, and their pass defense is okay. They're pretty balanced on offense. Now, again, when you have your top 2 wide receiver targets go out, I think that skews it a little bit. But let's get to the bets here. So ultimately for this game, I don't want to touch a total there on the over-under. Obviously these are 2 high-powered offenses, but they're not bad defenses, and we're talking about Thursday Night Football. Weird stuff happens there. I'd stay away from totals on Thursday typically. I'm going to be on the Rams plus 3. Now, I do think there's a good chance that they do win this game. However, Minnesota has shown the ability to win this season. And frankly, the Rams have a team with only 2 wins. They have not, had that killer instinct in that regard. So I will take the plus 3. Yes, I have a bit on the money line as well. But as far as the play given out, I like the plus 3. Catching the field goal, I see this being a very tightly contested game. And then we get to the props. 2 props I love off the bat right now. Matthew Stafford passing yards and Aaron Jones rushing yards. This is something that I've been talking about all week. I've got on it early, and I still think at these prices that are listed right now, there's still some value there. Matthew Stafford over 255.5 passing yards at plus 130. I'm laddering this up all the way to 300 yards. Obviously, Cooper Kupp being back is huge. Again, Puka being back is awesome. I'm not as set as far as do I think he's going to be 100%. No, I don't think he's going to be 100%. So give me Cooper Kupp for sure. But Puka Nacua, I'm just tempering a little bit. So, but I still think with guys like Tutu Atwell, Demarcus Robinson, there's going to be opportunity for Matthew Stafford to sling the rock. And then Aaron Jones rushing over 90.5 yards at plus 210. He's hit this number in 4 out of his 6 games. And the Rams are frankly a really bad rush defense. I think a clear advantage is the Vikings rush offense against that Rams rush defense, and the Rams pass offense against the Vikings pass defense. I know it might be a little oversimplified there, but I'm trusting 2 really stud players to go ahead and hit their lines and ladder those up. The other plays I'll be on, I am on Cooper Kupp, anytime touchdown, plus 130. He's a touchdown machine. I do think there's going to be a decent amount of points today. I think, Kyron Williams has been the guy in the red zone, but because he's kind of been the only guy healthy enough and who's still a stud. So I like Cooper Kupp there, especially with Puka Nacua back, even if he's just a decoy on the outside. Kupp is a touchdown machine. Give me Tutu Atwell over 40.5 receiving yards at plus 165. I talked about, look, I'm trusting Kupp. I'm trusting Stafford. Nakua, I've still got some questions. I'm not going to be directly fading him, but I think a nice way to I think other guys will get involved. Tutu Atwell has been a guy who has really come on of late. He is right now the team's leading wide receiver. He's hit this number in the past 4 weeks. So I like him to get over 40.5 yards at plus 165. And then finishing up on the offense, we're going to go with Jalen Naylor, Vikings wide receiver 3, over 30.5 receiving yards at plus 120. He's another consistent guy. It's similar to Tutu Atwell play, kind of playing the other guy. Look, the Rams secondary has been okay, but I think it's more so the fact that teams have been up on them and they've been running the ball, so they haven't had to throw. I do like the Rams to go ahead and get this game done. So I do like the Minnesota Vikings having to pass the ball there. So give me Jalen Naylor over 30.5 receiving yards at plus 120. And on the defensive side of the ball, I'm going to go Quentin Lake over 4.5 solo tackles. I believe he's hit this in every single game except for one there. For Quentin Lake, let me do a quick check over on the stats. He is their leading tackler right now as it stands. And he is very skewed to the solo tackles compared to the assists there. Let me just pull this up real quick. Go to his game log. All right, here we go. Yeah, so every game except for one game. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 out of 6 games he's hit this. So I really like Quentin Lake over at 4.5 solo tackles at plus 105. And then the final play here for the defense, Kobe Turner over a quarter of a sack at plus 130. The Minnesota Vikings have given up 14 sacks in the past 4 games, average out to about 3.5 sacks a game. It's been 3 games of 4 and 1 game of 2 sacks. Kobe Turner happens to be the leading guy with sacks on the Rams. So I think 2 plus 2 equals 4, right? Kobe Turner over a quarter of a sack there at plus 130. I think the value is there. And then my sprinkle of the day, because I like to get a little degen. Josh Oliver, anytime touchdown at plus 850. Josh Oliver, kind of the other tight end, but when you look at the production and the stats, him and Munt are, as far as targets wise, are pretty neck and neck as far as snap percentages, who's on the field. He has a touchdown this year, and his price is a lot juicier than Munt there. Again, no TJ Hawkinson. I think that the tight end position is something where they can get some value against that Rams defense. So give me Josh Oliver, anytime touchdown, plus 850. All right, folks, spraying the board a little bit here. Obviously, I'm a bit skewed to the Rams. I do think they're able to get it done tonight. We will see. This is a true game where it's kind of those pros, bros, churros. A lot of public money is coming on the Vikings. It seems so easy that they should go in and really kick the Rams' ass. But I think this is a situation where Rams are getting healthier at the right time. And I think that they're going to have to rely on Sam Darnold a little more than they had in the past. And that might not turn out well for the Minnesota Vikings. All right, folks. I am the DJ Doc. And if you enjoyed this, every Thursday, I'm going live breaking down the game. Again, game breakdown, injury analysis, and of course, best bets. And then on Fridays, I release an episode where I'm giving out my 6 best bets for the entire slate there. Obviously not including Thursday, but for Sunday and Monday, giving out the 6 best bets. We have been on a nice long shot streak. I think the last 4 out of 5 episodes, I've hit over a plus 350. So I hope you join me there. Catch that. That'll be released tomorrow. And from us here at IDP Plus, good luck on your bets today. Enjoy the game. And because I have to say it, baby, H2P, go Pitt.
Thank you for watching the IDP Plus YouTube network. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Be sure to tap the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload new content.